Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Spartan762, and today I'm going to give you guys a quick walkthrough through some of my thoughts on home security. A little bit about myself. I'm an NRA instructor, have been for about 3 years, certified in handgun, and also I'm a active shooter qualified instructor through the Department of Homeland Security alert system. Also, I'm a competitive shooter, 3-gun, IDPA, kind of all-around gun guy, and I've frequented YouTube for a long period of time as a nice way to kind of get some information out and see what other people are doing. And I decided to do these videos in response to some requests of some of my friends on securing their own homes. They've looked into things to do and on YouTube and found a lot of things lacking. And so I just wanted to go ahead and share my knowledge and hopefully help somebody out. Hope you like what you see. Now, to my way of thinking, there are two types of versions of home defense. First one being passive, and the second being active resistance to a home invader or intruder. And what I mean by active and passive are ideas that might resist a casual perpetrator, somebody who's just trying to maybe crime of opportunity, make a quick buck, and aren't after you specifically, that are more of a deterrent, might convince the bad guy to go ahead and find another dwelling or residence. And these are simple things like, locking your doors and windows, having the windows barred if possible, or at least locked, door stops, chains, anything that might make your house look less desirable as a target, while at the same time do not require your attention. Alarm systems are great, especially if they have that little sign that you can pick up for maybe $1 or $2 at a yard sale. Those are great ideas if you live in an apartment or small dwelling. Maybe just one of those stickers that they hand out, maybe 6, 7 at a time. Even if you don't have it, that visible deterrent might get them to think twice. So the first thing I'm going to do is so asinine, I can't believe I even have to say it. But when you look at it statistically, more houses are broken into by the simplest method that you can think of. Turning the lock and finding it open. Alright. Especially in my neighborhood here in Memphis, you will have a lot of teenagers and people who, maybe small-time drug abusers, not professional criminals, who simply want to just go around and, take your shit, make a quick buck, or just do it for fun. And what they do is they just simply go to doors and windows and check to see what's open. It's so simple. It takes literally 1 second to do, and it can save you guys a lot of hassle in the future. And in a violent scenario, such as a home invasion, it really comes in handy. But more on that in a minute. One thing to keep in mind when you're securing your home, that you can really harden your doors by a couple of very small steps, starting with the lock and door frame themselves. First and foremost, take a good look at your location of your locks. Deadbolts are fine if there's no opening nearby to windows or something else that a burglar can break through. As you can see by this wall and this wall, that there's no glass or decorative styling that would make it much easier access. A lot of times people will get in trouble when they reach through the door. The door is secured, and you can easily just break the window and open it up from the inside. If that's the case, definitely change out your deadbolt for instead a key on both sides. The other thing that you can do is secure a keyed entrance and exit doorknob as well. Redundancy is going to be key in a home defense scenario, either from burglary or from a active home invader where we might need to use a firearm. Another really useful hint comes from the screws of the door itself and the frame. When you open it up and look inside, you will notice a series of screws. Now, these interior screws will typically be about an inch or inch and a half. Main door screws will be likely 2 inches. Now, the issue that comes up when you're dealing with wood frame doors like these is when somebody kicks up against it, either with their shoulder or foot, you will often pull the screws out of the plywood without actually bringing the frame with it. So a real quick, real easy thing that you can do, especially for people without a lot of funds or like me in an apartment, you can just replace these screws with a series of 4-inch screws that will bring that whole frame with it and help prevent that kick-in. Quick and easy fix, and can really go a long way for home security. So when you're looking into active resistance to a home invader, bad guy, zombie, alien from Mars, whatever's coming in and knocking down your door, and you need to physically either hold that person accountable or make him an outline on the floor and let the insurance company worry about the rug. And that's one that we typically hear a lot more about in this, but I want to bring up some more ideas because a lot of times you see in YouTube people talking about, okay, you're going to go through all these things and then the gunfight happens and they leave off some things that might actually be a little bit more beneficial to you as a private citizen in your house as compared to Fallujah. There are 2 things that I like you to think about. They are, first, barriers between yourself, and second, time it takes to breach them. Everything in a seconds to life scenario, like somebody kicks in the door, you need to be ready, Minuteman style, rack the 870 and get to work. The more time you can add between yourself and the inevitable conclusion of that, the safer you will be. And a couple of these things I'm going to go over right now. Number 1, you should already have a major barrier, your house. The door itself, windows, again, should be barred, locked, alarm on, and have those ready. If they were to kick in that door, you need to be able to then move into a much safer place. There should also be interior barriers as well that can add extra time. One that I'm a huge proponent of is be sure you lock all bedroom doors at night when you're going to bed. I was bad about this when I was a young child. I liked having the door open, being able to hear a little bit more. But especially now in my current place, my bedroom door's seriously about less than 10 yards away from the front door. So if someone were to kick in try to enter my abode right through here, maybe Uncle Target, and sprint straight at my house, it would take maybe 4 or 5 steps. Let's try it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps into the room. When you're waking up in the middle of the night, 5 steps would be over way too quick. I've got this 870 right here next to the bed, and I'm not sure that I'd be able to get to that in time, at least enough to put it into an active use. So any further barriers that I can come up with that give me time to get out of bed, maybe find a piece of cover, can be a huge difference in a break-in type scenario. Alright, yes, of course, I don't actually sleep in my plate carrier. Like everybody else, I've tried to be as comfortable as possible. But so what we're going to do is I'm going to try to time the time it takes for me to get out of bed, roll out, pick up the 870 that's right there around the corner of the table, and retrieve to a place to cover that's right around the corner. And compare that to about the 4 seconds it would take, or much less, to take the 5 steps and get through the door and get into the room. So let's see if I can beat about that 4-second time, rolling out of bed, grabbing the shotgun, and getting to a place where I have some sort of concealment and cover. Alright, so starting off on the timer here in a second. Let's see what we got. Alright, out and rack with the dummy round in 3 seconds, cover by about 5. So that's me ready and waiting to move and knowing exactly what's going on. If you're like me, it takes at least a couple of seconds in the morning to figure out where the hell I am, even in my own bed. So when you add the disorientation of 4 o'clock in the morning, hearing a bang and not knowing what's going on, you're really going to be behind the curveball. So that's where it becomes so important to actually go ahead and get that second barrier inside your house, such as, you know, your bedroom door, you know, some way to slow that time from that front door or point of entry until you're reaching the people inside that you love. So again, if we're going to review the major points that we talked about in the video, number 1 is the 2 differences in home defense, as in passive or active resistance to intruders. Active being the one that you need to be there for, deploying a weapon system, and passive being the things you do to prevent their entry with or without your actual presence. Passive includes things such as locking the door, turning on the alarm, essentially making your house a hard target. Next subpoints are within your house, having multiple barriers besides simply the front door or hallway, something that could be used to slow down an intruder and keep you and your family safe while giving you time to either access your weapon system by getting into the safe or flipping over the covers and getting to where you need to be. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope to be doing more soon.